Shahid and Encik Muhammad Fajil Abdul Batau. I'm Siti Sarah binti Zainuri and I want to thank you for being here. I and my partner Nufara Shazana will discuss the factor influencing waste separation intention among households in Malaysia. These are the key points of the presentation. We will discuss the background of waste separation intention among Malaysian households and the need for evaluation and data collection from this report. The presentation will end with a discussion of 3 implications and any question you may have. We start off by providing research background on this topic. This study aims to determine the factors influencing waste separation intention among Malaysian households. And according to an engineering professor, Jerry 2020, solid waste management is the collecting, treating and disposing of solid material that is discarded because it is no longer useful. Theory of Plant Behavior (TPB) proposes that behavior is determined by 3 constructs or determinants, which are: the first is attitude, perceived behavior, control, and the last is subjective norm. Next, we proceed to the problem statement. According to Berita Harian, Malaysia has produced about 37,890 tons for every day with at least 1.17 kg generated for each individual. Improper waste management happen due to household discipline problem which do not dispose and separate their waste properly. Most of the household just mix up solid and liquid waste that making it difficult for the waste treatment and disposal in the landfill. As we know, waste is a global problem. We as a household produce so many products and throw out so much every day, and waste disposal is turning into a major ecological nightmare. Garbage is classified into 4 categories. First is wet garbage and dry garbage. These should be disposed of separately. Toxic waste includes mannequins, batteries, dried paint, old bulbs, and dried shoe polish, which need special care when we dispose of them. Next is organic waste, which consists of leftover foodstuff, vegetable, peels. This should be put in a compost pit and the resulting compost could be used as manure in the garden. Lastly is dry waste, which consisting of cans, aluminum, foils, plastic, metal, glass, and paper that could be recycled. For the research question, first is there any relationship between attitudes and waste separation intention among Malaysian households? Second, what is the relationship between subjective norm and waste separation intention among Malaysian households? And the third is there any relationship between perceived behavior control and waste separation intention among Malaysian households? And lastly is what is the most influential factor in determining waste separation intention among Malaysian households? For the research objective is the first to investigate the relationship between attitudes and waste separation intention among Malaysian households. Next, second is to investigate the relationship between subjective norm and waste separation intention among Malaysian households. For the third is to investigate the relationship between perceived behavior control and waste separation intention among Malaysian households. And the last is to determine the most influential factor in determining waste separation intention among Malaysian households. We go through with conceptual framework. which consists of theory of planned behavior. TBB is classified under independent variable, while will separation intention among household is identified under dependent variable. Okay, for the first is attitude, which shows that individuals who are more knowledgeable and more optimistic more optimistic about their information, have a more sensitive attitude towards recycling than their peers. Next, perceived behavior control refer to someone feels that he or she is truly capable of arranging unwanted things on a landfill site supported his or her. Sedative norm refer to directly sit down with the sense of individual moral responsibility, supported individual personal belief. As an inherent, think about the processing and also recycling of household waste.
Assalamualaikum. So I am Farah Shazana. So for hypothesis development, there is three independent variables, which is attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control. Attitude is a human feeling of liking or displeasure to a concept. So hypothesis for attitude is HO1, that stands for there is no relationship between attitude and inspiration intention, and HA1, which is there is a relationship between attitude and inspiration intention. For subjective norm is the social pressure that influence behaviors of an individual. So hypothesis for subjective norm is HO2, which is there is no relationship between subjective norm and inspiration intention, and HA2, which is there is a relationship between subjective norm and inspiration intention. The last one is perceived behavioral control, that shows a person's belief in how easy or difficult it is to escalate a selected behavior. The hypothesis for perceived behavioral control is the HO3, that is there is no relationship between perceived behavioral control and inspiration intention, and HA3, which is there is a relationship between perceived behavioral control and inspiration intention. The next one is research methodology. The research design is quantitative survey, and the unit of analysis is individuals, that is a household in Malaysia. The sample size is, according to the Department of Statistics in Malaysia, the population of Malaysia is 32.7 million, and according to the table by Frazier and Bolton, if a population is exceed 1 million, so the researchers need to get feedback from 384 people, which is the maximum number of sample size. So the sample size in this research is 384 people. So for the measurement, we use the Likert scale, and there are 19% altogether that adopted from Ayub, Shaw, Jim, and Jalil and Chin 2017. And the data collection is we made a survey from the Google form, and there are 5 parts altogether. So part A is profile of respondent, part B is the intention of inspiration intention, part C is the attitude towards the inspiration intention, part D is the subjective norm towards inspiration intention, and part E is perceived behavioral control towards inspiration intention. The data analysis for this survey is the descriptive analysis, which is mean and standard deviation, and also Pearson correlation and multiple regression. The next one is finding. So in finding, we talk about the profile of respondent. So the total of the estimated respondent is 384 people, but we only managed to get 250 respondents. So that is the 65% of total respondent. So for the profile of respondent, there are gender, age, highest academic qualification, place of residence, marital status, and employment status. So for gender, obviously there is male and female. So for male, there are 80 to people, and for female there are 168 people. So for age there are 6 people that is below 18 years old and 162 people that is 18 to 29 years old, and there is 90 people that is 30 to 39 years old, and there is 2 people that is 40 to 49 years old, and the last one is there is 41 people that is 40 and above. So for the highest academic qualification, there is 31 people that is qualified for SPM, 15 people for STPM, 23 people for certificate or foundation, 116 for undergraduates, 34 for postgraduate, and 31 for others. For the place of residence, there are 30 people that resides rural area, 104 that reside semi-urban area, and 116 that reside the urban area. The next one is marital status. There is 170 respondent that is single, 78 respondent that is married, and 2 respondents that were divorced. And the last one is employment status. So for employment status, there is 135 total of people of respondents. For this research is the students, 68 respondents that is employed for wages, 15 people that is self-employed, 20 people that is retired, and 12 people that is unemployed.
The next one is the main finding. So the first objective is to investigate the relationship between attitude and waste separation intention among Malaysian household. We use Pearson correlation to analyze the first objective, and we got the result R equal to 0.503 and P equals to 0.000. To determine whether they have a positive relationship or not, the P value must be more than 0.05. So the first objective, the result of the P value is more than 0.05. So there is a positive relationship between attitude and waste separation. So for the hypothesis, HA1 is accepted and HO1 is rejected. So for the next objective, which is to investigate the relationship between subjective norm and waste separation intention among household in Malaysia. So we use Pearson correlation also to analyze the objective, and the result is R equal to 0.371, P equal to 0.000. So the P value is more than 0.05. So there is a positive relationship between the subjective norm and waste separation intention. So for the hypothesis, HA2 is accepted and HO2 is rejected. So for the next objective is to investigate the relationship between the perceived behavioral control and waste separation intention among household in Malaysia. So we also use the Pearson correlation to analyze the objective. So the result that we got is R value is 0.472, P value is 0.000. Again, the P value is higher than 0.05. So there is a positive relationship between these two. So the hypothesis is HA3 is accepted and HO3 is rejected. So for the last objective is to determine the most influencing factor in determining the waste separation intention among household in Malaysia. So we use multiple regression to analyze this objective. The result that we got is the adjusted R value is 34.7%, the P value is 0.000, and beta value is 0.336. So the beta value that is the highest in this objective is the attitude. So the attitude is the most influencing factor that determine the waste separation intention among the household in Malaysia.
Okay, we proceed to the research application, which the first point is educating people about waste separation. Education related to proper waste separation is very important because a person will have knowledge about something good if educated. This education can be implemented with various simple initiatives such as can be delivered to students in school, delivered on social media for adults. For example, in Malaysia has conducted a campaign on solid waste management and environment and health to make every individual aware of the importance of proper waste management in the country. In this campaign, there are various programs implemented by NGO such as the Green Ramadan campaign to foster community awareness. Next, promote 3R initiative. As we know, with this 3R program, it can help to reduce the amount of waste thrown by the community. This 3R program consists of reducing, reuse and recycle. This program is implemented to save natural resources as well as land space. Reuse stands for use of something over and over again. Reduce means creating less waste, while for recycling refers to the process of remove some waste for use. In this slide show 4 concepts for 3 initiatives. One of the waste that can be recycled is plastic, paper and glass. Next is implement more campaigns, programs and activities related to waste management. More implementation of waste separation related campaigns and activities is to help the government increase public knowledge and awareness on proper solid waste separation. Programs such as the municipality has obtained an official license for waste management from the environmental authority. The main target of this program is to promote a strategic waste management plan which has the ability to be implemented by several communities.
The first limitation is limited sample. Although Malaysia has many population, the researchers only managed to collect 250 respondents out of 384 targeted respondents, which are only 65 of total sample size. For future research study, it is recommended for researchers to collect more respondents so that they can get a clear and exact result. The platform of the survey should be widening, and the research can provide a platform for the respondents to share the survey. The next one is the weakness of quantitative study. This study is a quantitative study that uses survey design. Quantitative type of study is really complicated and time-consuming. To do the quantitative study, the researchers need to use SPSS method to get the result. However, the SPSS process is a bit complicated and not everyone knows how to use the SPSS. So in addition, researchers need to get as many respondents as possible and achieve the estimated number of respondents in order to perform SPSS test. So instead of doing quantitative approach, future researchers can do face-to-face questionnaire to get the exact result. So they don't need to perform the quantitative study to really get the exact result. The last but not least is limited model. For this research, the researchers only perform and use 3 independent variables to examine the factors that affect the intention of waste separation among Malaysian households. So there are very limited of study model, and that gives a fewer encouraging result for the study. So the future researchers are much recommended to use many variables for studies such as the environmental knowledge, concern and preference.
In conclusion, this research proved that Malaysian households have the intention to drop off their solid waste by separation way. All the independent variables, namely attitude, subjective norm and behavior control in this research study have a positive relationship influence the waste separation intention among Malaysian households. This study also has directly increased the intention of Malaysians about the importance and benefit of segregating garbage in their homes. This study also has given a big positive impact to Malaysians after knowing the consequences and adverse effect of garbage on humans and also the environment. So that's all from me. Thank you. I'm ready to entertain any question you may have.